experimental probability or relative frequency. Performing an experiment such as rolling a die is called a trial. If you repeat an experiment by carrying out a number of trials, then you can find an experimental probability of an event happening. This fraction is often called the relative frequency. We can use this to make the prediction about what might happen in the future. That is the method to find which one, the experimental probability. That is, probability of an event is equal to number of times the event happens divided by total number of trials. This is the way to find which one, experimental probability. That is, number of times that particular event happens divided by total number of trials. We can check one example, then you will get more idea. A coin is tossed 100 times and recording the results. According to the results, the head gets 50 times. Find the probability of getting a head. That means in this case, total number of trials. What's the total number of trials? That is, a coin is tossed 100 times. That is total number of trials 100. The next one, we have to find the probability of getting a head. That means here event is getting head. That means here in this case, here given according to the result, the head gets 50 times. That is, this out of 100 times we got 50 times head. That means the number of times the event happens means 50 times the event happens. That means we can write it as like this, 50 divided by 100. That is, probability of getting head is equal to 50 over 100. Then reduce this fraction, we will get 1 over 2. The next, expected occurrences. Expected occurrences means number of times an event might occur in a large sample. That is expected occurrences. This way we can find expected occurrences. Expected occurrences is equal to probability of the particular event times number of trials. That is, we have to find expected occurrences of an event, that probability of that particular event times number of trials. You can check one example. The probability of rolling a 4 on a particular die is 0.18. Work out how many times expect to get 4 when you roll the die 200 times. That means here given the probability of rolling a 4 on a particular die is 0.18. That is probability of getting 4. That part is given here. That is probability is 0.18. Then work out how many times expected to get 4. That the same event 4. How many times we will get 4 out of how many trials? That is 200 trials. Then to find that one, we know expected occurrences is equal to probability times. Probability is 0.18 times number of trials. What is number of trials? 200. That means we can write like this, 0.18 times 200, we will get the answer 36. What is the meaning of this one? That is, this out of these 200 trials, we will get how many times we will get 4? 36 times we will get 4. The next, problems. A simple die is thrown 100 times and the number 5 appears 14 times. Find experimental probability of throwing a 5, giving your answer as a fraction in its lowest terms. That is, in this case, the total, how many times are the total number of trials? 100. Then out of these 100 trials, the number 5 appears 14 times. That is the probability of that. To find probability of which one? Experimental probability. Here we have to find experimental probability of throwing a 5. That is this total 100 times. Total 100 times. Out of this 100 times, how many times that 5 repeat? 14 times. That is, we can write it as a fraction. That is 14 divided by 100. Then we have to write that answer in which form? Fraction in its lowest terms. We can write that one. That is, probability of getting 5 is equal to, that is total 100 trials are the total number of trials 100. Out of that 100 trials, it repeats how many times? 14 times. We wrote that one in numerator, that is 14 divided by 100. We can reduce this fraction, that is 14 over 100 into simplest lowest terms. That means you will get the answer 7 over 50. That is the final answer. The next problem. A consumer organization commissioned a series of tests to work out the average lifetime of a new brand of solar lamps. The result of the test as summarized in the table. We can check that table. Here in this table given the lifetime of lamp L hours. Here L represent hours and the frequency. The next one is this part represent frequency. Then what is the meaning of this one? 0 less than or equal to L less than 1000. That is the number of lamps. Number of lamps average lifetime is in between 0 to 1000. That is number of lamps lifetime in between 0 to 1000. How many lamps are there here in this case? 30. That is 30 lamps life duration. That is average lifetime is which one? In between 0 to 1000. What is the meaning of this one? That is 75 lamps. That is lifetime. That duration. That is lifetime is in between 1000 hours to which one? 2000. In between 1000 hours to 2000. The next one 160 lamps lifetime is in between 2000 to which one? 2000 hours to 3000 hours. Then here in 35 lamps life duration is 3000 to 4000 hours. Then here in this case you can check this part here 0. This 0 is included in this part but 1000 is not included in this part, but 1000 is included in this part. Okay, then here 2000 is not here, but 2000 is here. Then here in this case you can check 3000 is not here but 3000 included in this part. Okay, that means here this table given which one? The average lifetime of one particular solar lamp. Okay, then after that we can check the question. Calculate the relative frequency of a lamp lasting for less than 3000 hours but more than 1000 hours. Then next one, question number B. If a hardware chain ordered 1800 of these lamps, how many would you expect to last for more than 3000 hours? Then first we can solve question number A. That question number A, calculate the relative frequency of a lamp lasting for less than 3000 hours, but it is more than how many hours? More than 1000 hours. Here we find the relative frequency. First we can check the total number of trials. That is total number of, in this case total number of lamps. Total how many lamps are there? That means 30 plus 75 plus 160 plus which number? 35. We can check what is the total. 30 plus 75. What is 30 plus 75? It is 105. Then 105 plus 160. What is 105 plus 160? It becomes 265. Then 265 plus 35. Then what is the answer? It becomes 300. That is here in this case total how many lamps are there? 300 lamps are there. That is in this case, in our case probability case, that probability, that is the total total number of trial, in this case 300. Okay, the next one is we have to find the particular, that one is given. Calculate the relative frequency of lamp lasting for less than 3000 hours. Less than 3000, we know this part is less than 3000. This is 3000. Okay, here this part is more than 3000. That is less than 3000 and more than 1000. That is more than, this part is more than 1000 or more than 1000. This part is less than 3000. That means this region we have to include, which we have to take this region. That it will come this region. More than which one? More than 1000 and less than 3000. It will come this region. More than 1000 and less than 3000. Then we can check this one. In this region how many lamps are there? This region how many lamps are there? 75 plus 160 lamps are there. That is, what is 75 plus 160? It becomes 130. 200, not 100, 235 lamps are there in this region. That means we can write like this: 235 total number of lamps 300. 235 divided by 300. Then we can reduce this fraction and we can write it like this: 45 or 47 over 60. That is the answer of question number A. The next one is if a hardware chain ordered 1800 of these lamps, how many would you expect it to last for more than 3000 hours? Then first here we have to find the number of, that is here we have to find the expected numbers. Okay, that is expected occurrence. Here in this case we have to find that expected occurrences, that we need which one, the total number of trials or total number of that part we need. Okay, then that part is here, the total number of lambs, or here in this case the lambs, total number of lambs are the number of trial, total number of trial, that part is given, that is 1800, that part is given. Then next one we need probability. Probability of which probability we have to find, that here in this case we have to find how many would you expect to last more than 3000 hours. That means that we have to find the probability of lambs expect to which one last more than 3000 hours. That probability we have to find, the number of lambs expected to last more than 3000 hours. Which region it will come? That is more than 3000 means this region. It will come in this region. Then this region, how many lamps are there? 35 lamps are there. 35 lamps are there. Then we know the total. What is the total here? The total is 200. That means we can, by using this table, we can first find which one, the probability of which one, probability of the lamps last more than 3000 hours. That means 35 divided by which number? 300. That is number B. We can write 35 divided by 300. That means here in this case we can write it as a reduced form. We will get 7 by 60. That means now we got the probability. Probability, that is we know that we got the experimental probability of which one, or the experimental probability or relative frequency of the lamp last more than 3000 hours. That part we got, that probability, that particular event probability we got. The next we have to find the expected numbers, expected occurrence. To find expected occurrence we know probability, that particular event probability times which one, the total number, total number of trials. In this case total number of trials here given, that is total numbers is 1800. We have to find out of this 1800 how many lamps which one expected to last more than 3000 hours. Then to find that one, this probability times which number, 1800. That means we can write like this: expected number of lamps is equal to 7 by 60 times 1800. Then use calculator and reduce. Without calculator also we can find this one, because we know in 1800 how many 60s are there is 30. Then 30 times 7, it becomes 210. That is 210 lamps we can expect it to last more than 3000 hours. That is the answer. Thank you.